headaches, lower back pain, leg pain, shoulder pain. And they think, oh, I need a massage. Oh, I just need to stretch. I need to go see the chiropractor. No, you need to physically go in deeper and find out what you are carrying, because I completely agree with you.
Yep.
You know, funny thing, as a parent, well, I don't even want to say as a parent, right? Like, let me take that hat off. As a person, you know, I never saw those like patterns before, right? Like,
What
I've never,
pattern? What patterns?
Like any of them, right? Not like a specific one, just like any pattern that we get stuck in, right? Like maybe it's the gym.
Putting our sock on the same foot every morning type of pattern.
Say that one more time.
Like putting the same sock on the same foot every morning type of pattern, or like narrow it down a little bit more for me.
Maybe not that pattern. Maybe like I don't know. Like maybe it's the identity pattern. Like we think, okay, well, like I'll even put myself on the chopping block. Like in high school, what's the number one thing you think you got to have? Status, right? Popularity, right? Or at least when I was in school,
I guess
that's what it was. You know, that's what you cared about. Yeah, your grades those had to be good, especially if you played sports. But 9 times out of 10, you wanted to be popular, right? So you think about like, maybe it is everyday patterns, like putting in the same sock on the same foot every single day, right? Maybe it is that, maybe, but it's different. So like you open your closet and in that like status mindset, you're like, what's name brand? What's different? What's gonna, you know what I mean? Like what's gonna draw attention? Like what, you know what I mean? Like you're thinking that, right? But then in another mindset, like maybe you're just like, what the fuck's comfortable? You know, like what's going to make me feel most like me today? What's going to give me most comfort? You know, what's going to just relax me today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like same patterns, just 2 different mindsets. You know what I mean? But like, I think what I was getting at was like that mindset piece. Like I never saw those patterns growing up or that I can remember. You know what I mean? But I do remember my dad being like, listen, you're upset at yourself because you got caught in this. See what I'm saying? In that pattern. And you're like, fuck. Like I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it, like pushing that button, so to say. But now that I'm a parent, I can fucking see all of it. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
of course, you have an adult lens. You don't have a kid lens.
Like, but it's not. Hold on. Too many thoughts at one time. But it's not even like just Waylon's pattern. You know, it's mine. It's my husband. It's his friend. You know what I mean? Like,
because you're looking through the world with adult lens.
Yeah.
And a greater level of awareness.
Like, it's amazing to me, you know, because even now, like, I will never, like, obviously, like, I work with someone and I help them see the pattern, you know, but like, as being a mom, like with Waylon, like the pattern that I just told you about, you know, or the thing that I told you about him, you know, I was able to pinpoint that pattern even before, like, it was fully there. Like, I seen it all, but it was like, wait a second. Like, me saying it out loud to him was like clicking it for me. Does that make sense? And it's like, I don't want to say never, because I know this has happened before, but I think I'm just like clocking it in real time right now. I'm like, whoa, like that actually happens, you know, like those patterns just right in front of you. So
welcome to conscious living, Demi.
Whoa.
Instead of just
ever
living,
look back? No, I'm just kidding.
Instead of just living and putting your socks on and putting your pants on and your underwear under your socks and your bra under your shirt, because that's what we're supposed to do, right? Like, it's making that conscious choice, consciously being aware. I just call that conscious living. And some people have a greater level of awareness of the world around them than other people, right? We all cannot be blissfully ignorant, right? We do need some of us to kind of be paying attention when we're driving the vehicles of life. So, I mean, you could take 10 people and you could go in a crowd and you could all be sitting on one long bench, right? You're watching all the same people. You're watching, but you're not watching all the same people, because I'm looking to the left. You're looking straight, but you're looking further back, right? We could all be looking in 10 different directions, and we could all argue and be like, but didn't you see the guy in the red sweater? What? No. How did the 9 of you not see the guy? He was the only person in the crowd wearing a red sweater. How did you guys not see that, right? Because everyone is looking at something different. But they're looking. So you're looking. You're consciously living.
Can I just be honest? Like, I love this. Like, and there are moments that I'm like, fuck, can I go back to sleep? Like, but you can't, right? Like, it's almost like once you see it, you're like, I want to know more. Like, or at least that's my in my humble opinion, that's kind of what comes up for me, because I'm just like, like, how else does all this stuff intricately work together? You know what I mean? Like, but I think you just kind of started what you said that you wanted to talk about last week with one statement. Welcome to conscious living, right? Because isn't that what chakras are? Just levels of consciousness, where consciousness meets the human experience inside your own body. Or at least you may have a completely different opinion about what a chakra is, but that, from every angle that I have read, that's kind of just what sums it up for me. So, because that's basically where the energy is stored, and we know how energy works.
Yep. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that this week. I changed my mind.
Okay, well, what do you want to talk about?
I had another thought today, but I want to go back to, I recently did a training on ADHD. Well, I started it. I didn't finish it because I only had like an hour in between clients. But so that's the beauty of having access to the video, is I can do it in pieces and not have to sit for 8 hours. And it was, interestingly enough, I've never heard it. I've never heard this before phrased in this sort of way. And they were asking like different aspects of people that get diagnosed with ADHD. And they were asking, when someone is explaining something to you, are you in your brain going, like, do you get it so fast that you're like, okay, hurry up. Yeah, I know this, right? Like, and they gave like so many different examples of that. And I was like, that's interesting. I never would have connected that to an ADHD brain, like that, that deeper level of knowledge that is just intuitive. I never would have connected that to, and I don't do a lot of my trainings on ADHD, because I don't, like, I'm more trauma heavy in my training. Yeah. So I was really surprised at that, because I know I don't have ADHD. Like, I've, a million times done all those questions. I have, like, there's certain things aspects about me that are like, oh yeah, but I don't meet the full criteria for ADHD. But I have always, and I'm very grateful for it, I have always been a very easy learner. And I do find myself being like, can you get to the point? Like, I don't need all these details. I do not need the details. I do not need the 57 steps it took you to get into the food store. Just tell me you went food shopping and you got my milk, right? Like, come on, straight to the point. Let's go, right? So, or if someone's explaining something, like, it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, did you hear my question? Can you just answer my question? Right. So I was, I was pretty stunned by that, that connection to ADHD. So when you had said, like, you're now like seeing the patterns, and it's, you're understanding it, and like, you're seeing it kind of like unfold as it's unfolding, and not necessarily like just afterwards. Um, it's pretty fascinating. So that actually fits into what I woke up thinking about again today, right? Raw energy day. My philosophical brain wakes up with me.
I love it.
Although today's my today's thought directly relates to a conversation I recently had about manuals,
Mhm.
and somebody saying to me, well, you've been doing this for a very long time, and you've probably worked with a lot of people. Could you please give me the manual on this? And I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. I'm like, if I don't, for privacy reasons, I won't go into the exact topic, but I'm like, if I was to try to give somebody the manual on almost anything as far as a life decision or preparedness or relationship wise or anything like that, like, it would be 8 million pages long, because there's so many different variables on who is the characters in your life. Like, and although maybe it wouldn't, maybe it could be 3 pages long if I had it specifically for just one person. But then I'd have to write 8 million manuals for every single person, right? Like, and it's so funny how, depending on a person's mind, their need for, and this goes back to our topic about employee mindset and entrepreneur mindset. It's so funny how some people, they need that strict guidance, strict steps to get something done. And then other people are like, it'll all work out, right? I'm the it'll all work out kind of mindset, right? But I don't want to be the it'll all work out when I'm putting something together that I'm going to sit on, because my ass doesn't want to fall on the floor, right? Like, although I'm not going to be putting it together, so I actually don't really care if it comes with instructions. Someone else is going to be doing it for me, right? But I want it to come with instructions.
Right.
But it's always fascinating to me when it's personal things, people want like the playbook on how to do it. And it's like, you can't, like, there's just, you have to write your own playbook based on who you are as a person, based on the situation you're in, based on the choice that you're making, based on the goal that you're trying to achieve. Like, and there's no right or wrong way to do things for the most part, right? So it was a fascinating conversation that I had, and for our purposes of energy and healing, and um, thinking about, the chakra, and where your body holds things. And, I had another conversation with someone about some physical pain, and I'm like, that's probably where your body is storing the pain that you're telling me you're going through, that really has nothing to do with physical pain. I'm like, if you ruled out everything Western medicine, like, you don't, like, you didn't break something, you didn't tear something, rip something, tumor, like, you don't have anything medically related going on to that pain, then that pain is some sort of negative energy that is being stored in that part of your body. And they were blown away by that. Like, they'd never heard that explained in that way. And, I shamelessly am plugged in, like, yeah, like, I have a 4-day program that,
Absolutely.
and they're like, well, you need to let me know when you're going to be running that 4-day program next. And, let me know where I can sign up. And so it's just, It's so exciting. But the playbook, the rule book, the manual for things, throughout the years, like I've actually had someone pay me a really good amount of money to be the nanny, right? So they, like that TV show, they had me come in and I spent a good amount of time with them and their family and their kids. And I thought they were going to be like, when I told them the cost, they were like, that's it? That's all you're going to charge? And I was like, wow, should I be asking for more? Right. So I spent, a good amount of time with them, and I was able to point out the things that, I know works with kids, and rules and expectations and guidance, like all that stuff that I've lived by, and proven that it works across diagnoses, across functioning, minus more severe like autism or developmental delays, like taking that off the table, that because that's a specialized training, ABA training and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just after talking to me for 15 minutes about what was going on in their house, they're like, could you move in with us for a little while? And I said to them, I said, you think you're being silly? I said, but I've had people in the past pay me to do that. I haven't moved in, I haven't slept there, but I've gone and I've spent a long time there over the course of a week or 2 weeks. And that is where you get the hands-on rule book, playbook on parenting, is learning from someone who's done it, learning from someone who's taught it. So in that, early in my career, I did that. I was through one of our local state agencies, protective services for kids. They had a parent partner program, and I worked with one mom in particular, and that was my most favorite thing at that time that I had done, was doing that, because I was able to coach her and guide her like in the moment, which was beautiful. And we had time to process and think about it and dive into, and I was able to point out things right in the moment that they were doing, and like the growth. And I was able to do that for a few months because of that program. And the growth that person saw for the first time in their life was amazing. And, people pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for life coaches. They'll pay $8,000 for a life coach in a year, but go to therapy? Oh, I don't need a therapist. What do you think you just paid for? They didn't do the clinical work for you, but you just paid $8,000. Could have cost you a whole lot less if you went through your insurance, and worked out some of the deeper rooted stuff. But yeah.
Well, and that's kind of like what came up for me, right? Like even with what you were saying about like the manual, right? And I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. I mean, you would have to write a billion or specific, and I think the reason that is we all love simple shit, right? But how do we get the simplicity? Through the complexity, right? You have to work through that to find your what'd you say, chocolate chip recipe, right? Or chocolate chip cookie recipe. I knew what I meant. Okay. See, that's an ADHD thing. And Colleen, I have a lot of thoughts on what you said about that. Yes. And this isn't the first time I've been seeing it. I think this is just where that awareness has caught up. You know what I mean? Because like even like learning throughout school, I would catch myself doing that. Like, can you hurry up? Like with the teacher, I'm like, I get it. It makes sense. Come on, let's move, like, so I get it. And there's even been times like in my adult life, like I remember a couple jobs, I'm like telling the trainer, I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's move. Like when I worked as a bank teller, against all regulation, they were like, we can't let you run a drawer, but we're going to let you run a drawer because, I'm like, thank you, like, I can help,
Yep.
So I totally understand that. But I think it's because we've already kind of done our manual, like as you learn and as you grow and as you like pick up things, and I think this is the coolest thing, especially like, because Colleen, you know, like I was late diagnosed with ADHD. I mean, I was what, 29, 30? I don't think I was quite 31, but like it made so much sense to me because I had already kind of come up with my system to go around the systems in place, you know, because it's like, okay, this makes sense, but here's my loophole, you know? So a lot of times, I think that's why we all want that manual, because we don't want to go through the complexity of ourselves to find it, you know, but that is what it is. Like, we've already done that in so many different aspects. We've actually done that through the or we've done that to actually store the energy, believe it or not, you know. Yep. Same thing with the chakra piece. Like, I think it's so cool that you said too, like, well, yeah, like people will pay thousands and thousands of dollars for life coaches rather than fixing the root, you know?
Yeah.
Well, what happens when you fix the root? You know, everything above that can grow upon a stable foundation, you know. Yep. But that root in and out of itself is multiple tunnels of fucking complexity. And that's hard for a person, you know? And like, I think that's why, you know, you have so many people walking around with headaches, lower back pain, leg pain, shoulder pain. And they think, oh, I need a massage. Oh, I just need to stretch. I need to go see the chiropractor. No, you need to physically go in deeper and find out what you are carrying, because I completely agree with you.
Yep.
You know, but that's that complex piece. And like I said last week, is that a lack of knowledge? Do you not know how? Or are you just avoiding it? Because it's complex, it's scary, you know, it's painful. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to sit with pain.
But or revisit it.
Say that again.
Or revisit it.
Absolutely. Yeah, nobody wants to. It's like reopening the wound, of course, you know. But when you look at it, rather than having to, and I'm not trying to say like rather than having to go search for somebody that has the perfect manual for you, because you will still lean and search and need people who have different tips, who have different strategies, who have different structure, who have out of the box shit like Colleen and I have. You know, you're still going to have that. But that's when you can kind of build your own simplicity with other people's simplicity. You know what I mean? It's almost like, as I was saying that, I immediately pictured like a wooden bridge, right?
Covered or not covered?
Huh?
Covered or not covered?
Not covered. I'm thinking like my mind is like in the jungle, and you got to make a wooden bridge. Okay. So like,
scary.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not scared. Like I'm not scared.
No, but a scary wooden bridge, not like a really cool covered bridge that you're gonna walk over.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know the bridge doesn't matter, but I just love covered bridges.
Yeah, well, we can make it a covered bridge. I mean, it's the same type of thing, right? Like let's look at it. Like, you're still, yeah, okay. So Colleen just bought an island, and she has to make a covered bridge so she can go buy groceries. You know, she's not going to be out there in the middle of the damn ocean trying to cement shit and weld shit and do all the shit herself, but she's going to design it. She knows how she wants it to look. She knows the structure that she wants. She knows what color she wants, and she knows how long she needs it and the width, 2 lane, 1 lane, whatever it looks like, right? Like, she already has that simplicity there.
But with the drawbridge in the middle, so I can control who comes on my island.
I get it, man. Don't forget your alligators in your moat. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, but like, just like I said, like, so Colleen's already done her complexity, right? She knows what she wants, and she's created simplicity. But now she's going to look at other life coaches, other therapists, other people that she knows have the pieces and the tools to build her simplicity up stronger. Does that make sense? To build her covered bridge, you know? And I think that's what so many people don't realize. You know, like I literally heard, it's funny that we're talking about this because this morning, I allow myself 10 minutes of TikTok time in the morning because I have ADHD and sometimes I like a little bit of dopamine hit, but I have a good friend told me about this app that will shut the thing off. It's on a timer and I only get a set amount of time and then it shuts it off.
Oh, that's interesting.
Fuck yeah. It's amazing. It works on the computer too. So I'm like, so I have that set after 10 minutes, but like I literally was listening to a coach. I don't know exactly what her specificity pieces are, but she said, I don't understand why other coaches are teaching people how to actually like solve things because they're working themselves out of a job. What? Like it totally hit me sideways because it brought me back to what you said, you know, like that simplicity. And rather than trying just to band-aid other things because you're worried about your position, look at the fucking growth you could have if you actually did the work and helped people benefit for themselves. Imagine the shit that would come to you after that. The real transformation, the real aha, rather than just another meh. You know what I mean? And maybe it's not meh energy she's giving, but like that's what I felt hearing that. Because why wouldn't you want the benefit of somebody else? Why wouldn't you want somebody else to benefit from what you're giving? Sorry. I think I said it right the first time, but I second guessed myself.
That's a terrible way for a coach to think.
Well, that's very closed-minded. Very closed-minded.
That's creating dependency.
Well, exactly. Like your clients shouldn't have to need you that long, and you shouldn't have to need them. You know, growth is inevitable, and but at the same time, that should be something that hypes you up. You know, like I always want people to like do better. You know, like
heck yeah. The best feeling in the world is when someone says, yeah, I don't think I need to make any more appointments. I'm like, yes. Not because I don't like them. It's because that means that the work we've done together has been helpful in their life.
You know, I got or it wasn't just me personally. It was with a friend of mine and the client that we work with. She said, you know, I'm really starting to recognize these patterns and I'm really starting to like see the growth and see, okay, wait a second, you're here. You know what I mean? And like reading those type of messages fucking lights me up, you know, not because I'm not the fucking pattern solver. You know, it's my job so you can recognize them yourself because that's where the true power lives. I will carry the torch for other people and I'll fucking hold it for you so you can see. But it's not my job and it's not doing you a damn bit of good if I'm doing that pattern recognition for you. You can't snap yourself out of it, no matter if you're running your own business, no matter if you're trying to grow and be a better parent, no matter if you're trying to grow and get a better job, no matter what.
Yep.
You know, like relationships, anything. We all know that, like, it's cliche now, but it's so true. Like, you're never going to truly love anybody unless you can love yourself first. And that's so fucking true. There's no other difference in that, you know, like same goes with coaching and helping other people. I love you too, honey. Josh clocks back in and he's whole wailing. He says, tell your mom I love her and bye. Yeah, that's yours. Sorry. But like I was saying, I mean, same goes with like being a coach. Same goes with even like that, the method, right? Finding your own manual, your own method to things. Well, how are you supposed to give your method to somebody else if you're too afraid to try it? You know?
Yep.
Like, that's immediately what I was thinking. Like, that's just, and to me, like I and Colleen, I feel like you kind of look at things the same. Like I look at things as energy. Like if I'm not drawn to it, it's not for me. You know what I mean? And when I listened to that and I heard that, I was just like, it immediately like cut that cord. You know, I really liked what she was saying at first. She was talking about how you have to do the work and get to know yourself, but then you fall flat like that. Like, tell me you did some work and then you stopped. You know, you know what I mean? And there's no shame in that, but like, own it.
I think that's coming from someone who is fearful of other people being better than them.
Intimidation's a big
And that's what holds a lot of people hostage. You know what I mean? Like I've seen it run in like it's family culture, you know, like it's the who do you think you are, right? Like that type of attitude. Oh yeah, look at Colleen. Yeah, she thinks she's better than us. And it's like Colleen isn't thinking about you at all. Colleen's thinking about herself and what she wants for herself. It not a single person in her life is part of that equation. Like, don't flatter yourself, right? Like, don't flatter yourself to sit here and think that I am making decisions despite you to think that, oh, I'm going to be better than them. Like that, there might be some people that live their life like that, but I think the majority of people do not live their life like that. I was thinking about going back to the very beginning of what you were saying about, you know, people avoiding things. I'm like, yeah, everybody that walks this planet, their middle name is Avoidance, and I don't care what their birth certificate says. Middle name is Avoidance.
Oh, I agree. Agree wholeheartedly. I was part of that. I mean, like I'll own it. I still am part of that. Like I'll avoid stuff that still bothers me. No, I mean I'll own that. Like there's still things that like I'll be reflecting and it just that like you know, and I've caught myself even more in that pattern. You know, like you know, or like if my husband said something, you know, like he believes in me and wants me to grow. You know, and me, or in my humble opinion, I think that's what a good spouse does, right?
Yeah.
No matter if it's the husband or the wife, like, or wife and wife, husband, it doesn't matter to me. You know that. I don't care. As long as you're fucking happy and they treat you right, that's what matters. You know, that's what matters to me. But at the end of the day, like, I think that's what makes a good partner, a good spouse, because they see that in you and they're encouraging you to do better. But I think that's what also makes a good friendship. That's what makes a good relationship with another person. You know what I mean? Because you have to have that. And fuck, Colleen, where was I going? Avoiding things. You know, like I've even caught myself in that pattern of like, do I visit this? Do I not visit it? Well, now I've just trained myself like, look, if it's causing you problems right now, it's going to cause you fucking bigger problems down the road. So you better shovel it out now. You know what I mean? But I completely hear that. I completely hear that. And it's so sad because I think we avoid things that, one, they cause pain. Two, we're afraid of them, right? Because we don't know whether it's the uncertainty or you're going to have to take ownership and accountability over things that maybe you're kind of embarrassed about or you feel guilty about, you know? Like all of these things, though, have so much hidden wisdom, hidden energy, hidden power. They have hidden power in all of that. And I think that's what makes me so sad when people like, it's not my job to, or it's not, and I'm not trying to judge people who do get stuck or who stop or who get so far and then they're like, okay, I'm good. You know, like it's not my right or my life or my anything to say, hey, what are you doing? You know, but it does make me sad for those people just because like there's so much more wisdom, more knowledge, more power, more potential that they could have there.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
I don't know where else I was going with that, but it just hit me like a ton of bricks just because, look, I mean, I think one of the hardest things, Colleen, is actually ownership of all of it, right?
I just need to find a yoga studio or several. I have someone that's going to partner with me and do the sound bath.
Hell yeah.
So that's exciting.
Hallelujah.
It's funny because I just did with her, I just did a sound bath class on Friday night, and it's an hour and a half long, and it goes by like it's 3 minutes long. It's crazy. And if you can be present in the room with your mind and not have it like have running shoes on and running little marathons, you can really pay attention to the different sound waves in your body and where, at least this happens for me. I don't know if this happens for everyone else, but you feel it. So like you lay with your head in the center. So everything she does is starting with your head, which makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And if you're completely mind aware and body aware, like you can feel the music frequency like going throughout your body. And if you're holding on to anything, it gets like stuck, and it can get like warm like in that part of your body, which is wild, so wild to experience. And like I said, I don't know if everyone experiences that, or if it's just me, or me and some other people. Like, I don't really know. But as I was laying there, my sinuses were like getting stuffy because you lay flat. I don't know why my sinus, and it was more like my right side. So the
Mhm.
music was getting stuck, like the frequencies were getting stuck here, and like it felt like it was like burning and on fire. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting, you know?
I now I'm really intrigued. Like I kind of want to know like what she like. I would love to listen. You know what I mean? I'd love to listen to it.
I think you have to be there to experience the intensity of it,
Mhm.
because there's one drum, it's like big and round, and she comes around, and I mean, it, I don't know how close it is to my face because I don't open my eyes, but it feels like it's like right here. So like you can physically, you can feel it hitting your face, but frequency wise, you can feel it. And that is my favorite drum that she does. I love that. And she does a series of different tones, like different thing, and like some of it is like boing, like she hits it, at least I picture that she's hitting it real hard, and there's like thump 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 boing, like, and it's just amazing. If you ever get the chance to do a sound bath,
Okay, in a minute. Go ahead.
and it might be different if like they only, like, she's a musician by
Mhm.
trade and then got into doing sound baths, so she has more than just the singing bowls that she
Yeah.
uses. But if around you, if you ever get a chance to do a sound bath, do one. I would love to see like your experience.
I would like. I'm so intrigued just because like I mean one I think in person energy, and I don't mean nothing like I mean that in no negative sense to the online space, because it definitely can transmute through online. Like we've seen that
Yeah.
so many
Oh yeah.
times. But I think there is something different about in person energy.
Yeah.
And when you are, excuse me, when you're in those, I don't want to say, well, yeah, when you're in those rooms, like there's so much energy that is there's so much intentional energy that's given to the start of that before you even enter the room, before anybody enters that room. Like I am so intrigued in that, and I may have to do a quick Google search to see. But like I think what really like makes me want to do this even more is what you said, right? Like I have never physically felt like it gets stuck, and just felt like it was burning. I felt like the frequency of like the hertz. There's different hertz sounds that you can
Yeah.
listen to. But I felt like those start to like vibrate through, but they've never physically gotten stuck somewhere. So like I am very curious, just because I like this shit. I like
Yep.
to do this shit, and I want to feel better. And I know that there are some areas, especially like um because I thought we were talking about chakras today, everybody. I kind of brushed up on some of my stuff when it comes to that, just because it's been so long since I used some of the language with it. But like, it's so cool to like kind of revisit that and hearing this, just because as I was revisiting some of the information and knowledge that I have with the chakra stuff, like I started to pick up on little pieces, and I'm like, okay, it's not blocked, like nothing's blocked, but there's little twinges in there, you know? So it makes me really curious. That's all. Like, I'm very like, I almost want to like look on like Spotify or Apple Music and see like what sound baths they have, and see.
Oh, Spotify has beautiful ones, because that's what I used when I did my 4-day thing.
Do you think that, well, she used actual instruments, but it's the same. If they use the same instruments, it could have the same effect, especially when you're.
It doesn't have the same effect, but it is a good second. So like when I was doing those 4 days, like I had it playing on Spotify for the person that I was working with, because I did it individually. I didn't do it in a group for my beta group. Sorry, I got a wicked itchy nose.
Okay.
I have fungus gnats on my plants, and they like to fly up my nose, which is super fun.
I'm so sorry.
So I have like 2 of them flying around. I'm trying to smash them. So when I was doing this, so I have like an external speaker, and I have the professional, like not the professional, but I have the family Spotify, so I don't get commercials. So it's uninterrupted. So I found Sound Bath, and I went through and I listened to the ones that I specifically wanted. And then obviously I took notes in my notes. So I knew which one to play. So Spotify has some really good ones. So when I was playing them, like the speaker was right next to me and the people were laying on the floor. So I'm sitting on my chair, and they were laying on the floor, like, I don't know, 2.5 feet from me, because my office isn't that big. So when I was talking, I would turn the music down just a little bit. And then when I wasn't talking, I would turn it up a little bit. And I could still feel, depending on the sound that was coming through, I could still feel it, but it wasn't the same as when I do it in person. And I don't know if it was because it wasn't in person, or if I wasn't in a relaxed state because I was teaching it and guiding it. I have not listened to it. So in my office, it's kind of weird too, versus the yoga studio. The yoga studio is very zen. Like it's dark, it's warm, because we did them at night. So it's dark in there. They have a beautiful fireplace. So like the ambiance is like relaxing. I'm covered in a blanket, like my legs are elevated, like I'm comfortable and I'm relaxed and my eyes are closed. Versus here in my office, my lights are on. I was sitting up. You can hear people coming in and out. Like if the door shuts, you can hear people talking in the hallway. There's whatever they do upstairs, which sounds like a freight train coming by. So it's not the people that didn't notice all that stuff. Like the ticking of my clock drove me nuts when I was guiding them through that. So after the first time, I took the batteries out of that. I'm like, I can't stand to listen to this tick, 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 tick. They're like, oh, I didn't even notice that. I'm like, I'm glad you didn't, but I did. So I don't know if I should test it. So I should bring my speaker home, and when I'm laying in my bed, I should play it and see if those hertz frequencies going through are similar, like if I'm in a relaxed state. I will do that. I'll do that for next week. I'll bring the speaker home and I will play it, at home and see if it hits the same as it does in person.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I'm,
I don't have that big drum thing, so that isn't going to be the same. But the singing bowls and all of that stuff will be the same.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna look up. Like I said, I haven't done it, so I'm going to. And then I'm just gonna put my headphones in, you know. And I have noticed that too. Like when I sit and try to meditate, it's Colleen. I'm probably gonna make you laugh when I say this. I can't do that when everybody's home, unless I'm outside and they're inside, because it's just, I don't know. It's almost like I'll get super still and I'll get real quiet. And I'll get all those thoughts and I love it when people are like, I can't meditate. I get too many thoughts. It's too loud. Homie, it's working. You just got to keep going. Okay. It's working. You just got to keep going. So I'll get like all quiet, right? I'll have my blank slate, but that's when like, it's almost like I can see and feel, right? I'll feel it first. And then of course it comes from my heart because I love my family. You know, I love my husband and my son. But like, it's like my threads are there and I can't get them all. So then it's like the energy just falls flat. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like, I also think that's a good thing too. For those of you who want to try this, who do pull up Spotify or Apple Music and look at sound back, you know, like remember that one, if you attempt and you can't get through to that blank slate, like Colleen was saying, or if nothing really changes for you, like don't get discouraged, right? Try again, you know, because that's the thing that I do. Sometimes I'll go sit on the balcony so I can meditate and be quiet, you know, and get my shit together. Or I've noticed that if I just put myself in the bathroom, just, you know, even with the fan, rather than a white noise machine, like the fan.
A fan is white noise.
Well, true. It absolutely is. I didn't even, yeah, 2 and 2. Duh. But like that works too. You know, I've done that and I've just kind of, you know, set myself in there. But like, I think it definitely does make a difference on atmosphere, you know, mind, like you said, you know, and it's funny that you said that with the clock because we have a clock out there. It's a digital clock, but it ticks. It's weird. Every time, like it beeps on the 2 dots beep for the seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it ticks. And I have noticed, like, if when the kids are at school and Josh is at work and I'm in here doing my own thing, that tick, I'll hear it from in here out or from out there. I'm like, oh, so I feel you on that.
Meditation is interesting because people think like you need to achieve this level of, you know, Tibetan monk blankness. Like they practice for years to be able to get to that point. And this is why I don't ever recommend meditation to people, because if you're going to try this with sound bath, you know, any of our audience, if you're going to try this, like the goal would be to put all of your mental energy into listening to the music. That's meditation. You don't have to have like this wall,
Nope.
like that's not always the goal as far as meditation goes. So, you know, I think a lot of people get discouraged about that. Like if you sat in your room and all you heard was that ticking clock and that was bringing you a sense of comfort, that's meditation. You're putting all of your energy onto focusing on one thing and not all your little running squirrels in your brain, right? So that's why I don't ever recommend meditation to people, because it can be extremely frustrating. Guided meditation is very different, right? Because you have either a person that you know or, you know, a training or someone on Spotify, whatever, doing some sort of guided meditation. But again, like that can be tricky if you need it to go faster than what because you're not at that quiet comfortability yet, and like shifting your brain to then listening to the music, like you're anticipating like, all right, what do we do next? It's like, just be, you know, like it's all about learning. Just like, you know, most people don't jump on a bike the first time and ride 10 miles, you know, like gotta learn how to keep the bike up. So
absolutely. Nope. And I have a few like beginner guided meditations. Like if anybody needs those, let me know. Like drop them in the comments. I'm happy to give them. They are guided, you know. And what Colleen just said was something that I kept front and fucking center, and why I had to record them 20 times because I felt like I was going too fast. Because I knew what I wanted. I knew what the goal was. You know, well, I've been doing this a lot longer than some people, you know, so
Yep.
I've had to like slow that down. I get it. But no, I absolutely agree with you. And I think that meditation is so like, people don't understand. They think that they have to listen to this. And that's exactly what you said. It's not that at all. It's focusing on something else to get quiet, to center, to hear yourself. That's it. Or anything else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, no, Colleen, I know you got to wrap up, but is there anything else you would like to say to the people before we hop off?
Just check out Sound Bath and tell us what you think about it.
Yep. And yeah, and if you need any help with the meditation piece, let us know. If we can help in any way, we will. If not, you know, hey, Sound Bath works too. I like it. I'm gonna try it, Colleen.
Yeah. Awesome. Be curious to see what you think about it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But no. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in for episode 4 of Raw Energy, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
All right.